Welcome back to episode 2 of the lineup presented by Dugout Creative. We have two amazing guests today, just like last time, and I am so excited to talk to these two about their journeys and get to know them a little bit more. Even though, someone like Truman Nation I've known quite a while, I'm excited to get to know Mangoes a little more. We've had a few chats, we've had a few, talks in the booth for some DCCL action, but man, there's so much more that meets the eye, man, that I know about you, and I can't wait to learn about that story. So, we usually get the podcast started off by getting to know our guests a little better. So, for the first one, Mr. Major Mangoes, I gotta ask, where are you from? What kind of content do you make? And how did you end up where you are right now?
First of all, man, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. Great, always a pleasure, man.
Always,
to
dude.
see you and my cowboy buddy right there. It's always an absolute pleasure, man. Linking up, dude. Thanks for having us on. This is gonna be fun. Gonna really enjoy this. Yeah, a little bit about myself, right? I'm Australian, right? So,
Oh, really? Couldn't tell.
yeah. So, like the last couple of years have been like a bit of a roller coaster. I played professionally right out of high school. Signed with the Twins. Went through a journey of baseball. It's another story. Doing that stuff, and then I was working inside of baseball 2 years ago. The pandemic hit, and I jumped into this content space and started, streaming and playing a game that kind of all brings us together. And then, the rest was history. I kind of took it seriously and really went after it and put in the same kind of work effort and ethic that I'd put into real baseball and what I did through high school to try to really go after it. And that's what brought me to be able to meet all you clowns and have fun, and now I've got all these friends all around the world in a whole different community, and it's been an absolute blessing.
So, just so you guys know, Mangoes does stream MLB The Show, and I'm curious, was that the game that you always knew you were going to stream, or did you start off with, a few other popular games, maybe Call of Duty or something like that, or was it always baseball?
Yeah, I never thought I was going to stream MLB The Show. Like, I was training a kid, and this kid, every time I'd train him, was like, you need to play this game. You got to play this Diamond Dynasty thing. I'm like, I just play Road to the Show whenever I get a chance. You know what I mean? And I was a Warzone guy. I liked playing Call of Duty and Modern Warfare 2. And once I jumped into the space, he convinced me to, do it. Then I loved it, man. And then I was like, this is what I kind of wanted to do. I jumped on YouTube. I actually got to see all of these guys that are, my peers now that I looked at. I was watching all their videos to get me into the game 2.5 years ago, you know, which is really, really quite funny. And now they're all my buddies.
Yeah, it's crazy how small things are once you actually hop in, man. You give it some effort. But yeah, man, any like ups and downs throughout this thing? Like, I know right now it seems like you're on top of the game right now. Explain to that journey a little bit. Like, how did you, did you start off with any sort of support? How did you kind of build that up?
So I did have a little bit of support when I started, right? Like my first guy that I really liked watching, right? I'm a baseballer. So I play in real life. I was around baseball in real life constantly when I first started this Diamond Dynasty stuff. I liked watching a handful of guys, but I really liked watching, your friend Kyle, right? So I was watching Kyle and it was funny. It was entertaining. I really enjoyed what was going on, a level of gameplay, right? So I actually did a couple videos with him before I even had a Twitch channel.
Oh, really?
So yeah, he made a video,
that.
like 2 videos, with me before I was even on Twitch, right? And once I kind of did that, and I kind of was just enjoying where I saw the direction it was going, I was like, I take shit seriously. It's that simple. It's like I had a plan, and I kind of like stuck with it, and there really wasn't any ups or downs, right? It was just I really trusted the process of putting in ridiculous hours month to month, like knocking on 200 hours a month. And now, listen, I know not everyone can do that, but I'm a big believer in if you have a goal and a mindset for something, you can never fully get elite success if you're half in, half out. You have to fully commit. I've known that since I was a kid, trying to be like get to an Olympic level or a professional level with the Twins or wherever. I knew that I had to commit if I wanted to do it. I was like, I like challenges, and I went after it, man, and it stayed consistent and just kept grinding, even when people thought it was silly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, you
Yeah.
are an absolute grinder, man, and man, we're gonna dive into some more stuff a little bit deeper than just the surface level, but man, yeah, excited to have you on, man, and I appreciate the insight, man. I feel like you're just a book of knowledge, man. Like every time I come through the stream, it's always something new that I can just hold on to myself, you know.
Thanks, man. That means a lot, dude. Yeah, I like trying to do the. I like trying to. I'm a coach first and foremost in real life, so I like to kind of take that into anything that I'm doing. I'm a big believer in not gatekeeping or holding people down, rather than elevating everybody, and then everybody starts to get better. You know what I mean? With healthy competition, and I'd rather be a part of the solution than the problem.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna move on to our next guest, who I've talked to quite a bit. We've worked together for quite some time, and I've known him for a long time. But we had to bring him on the lineup, one of our first episodes. It had to be my dude Truman Nation. But for those that don't know who Truman Nation is, Mr. TJ, can you tell us where you from, man? What kind of content you make, and how'd you end up here, bro?
I'm from the great state of Colorado, just like all you guys for the most part, primary MLB The Show guy. I originally started streaming, honestly, just like so my friends could watch me play MLB The Show. Like, it was without a camera, it was, from the PlayStation, no mic, anything like that. I was always pretty good at the game, and some of my old college teammates just wanted to watch me play. So, realistically, I went live for the first time just to hang out with them. But ironically enough, my very first game of all time back in MLB 19 when I went live, I got matched up with Gunsky. Very first game.
No way.
I won that game. And
No
people
way.
stumbled in because I believe he was live as well.
Yeah.
And they're like, who's this guy? So no mic, nothing like that. Just
No
literally
mic.
the gameplay. People started to come in. So after I saw that, very first game, with none of that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy a cheap mic, cheap camera, like the old PlayStation cameras, and you can still stream off the system. Day 3 of streaming, I got a raid from Dimmu. Didn't know what a raid was.
God.
Didn't know what a raid was. So, in the top right, when you're streaming from the PlayStation, how it shows like your viewer count and everything. I saw it go from like 2 to 50 to 100. I was like, what's going on? What is this? I didn't even know what a raid was.
Yeah.
And just kind of got rocking and rolling from that raid there, just, started averaging 10, 15, stayed consistent, kept it going, invested in myself. And what was supposed to be just a hobby while I was working a full-time job turned into my full-time job, which is pretty crazy to think about. And obviously an absolute blessing.
Yeah.
That's crazy that your first ever raid was Dimmu. That's just like
pure luck.
destiny or something,
Pure luck.
right?
I don't know, man. Just pure total luck.
2 things. Like beating like Magunsky and then getting some momentum from that. Like, who is this guy? And then it rolls into that. See, this is, it's like, I didn't know that story about you either. It's like, you didn't know the story about, I guess, me and Kyle before.
Yeah,
I
no
was
idea.
even streaming.
No idea.
There's like 3 YouTube videos of me and Kyle before I even had Twitch. And then I didn't know that about Truman. That's crazy.
It's almost like just like destiny, man. Like meant to be type stuff. But I say that, but obviously like we've put in hours and hours and hours of work, blood, sweat, tears, what have you. You know what I mean? So
I'm a big believer in that you do put yourself into positions to create and channel your own destiny. Which direction, what energy you're putting out, and what work ethic and the environment you put yourself in is going to navigate the direction that you go, right?
100%.
So like, I call it kind of controlled fate a little bit. So I believe that with every answer me. Yeah,
I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, and hey, talk us through that. You have a good I quit my job story. I remember you were working for like AT&T or something, right? You were selling cell phones, right?
Oh, this is great.
Yeah,
you were grinding. You were grinding though, and you finally made the decision. And I mean, look at you now. But you got a good story on that?
I mean, I was actually kind of talking with Dude's a Dude about it a little bit in Vegas. I
Uh-huh.
was talking about the story recently, but yeah, no, it was let me start by saying it was very premature when I decided to go full time. It was
Yeah.
very premature. My wife had an opportunity, a job opportunity that required us to move, and there were no AT&T stores in that area. So my two options were at that point were to either, you know, go all in and try to actually make a living off content creation, or, start looking for jobs. So
Mhm.
my wife accepted this job, and we decided to leave. We used to live in Denver, so we left Denver. Um, and we just kind of had it planned out that, like, yeah, I'll try content creation for a couple months. If it works out, great. If not, then at least I tried. Um, and lo and behold, with putting in way more hours than I could at AT&T, it did work out. But like I said, it was very premature. I believe that the day that I tweeted out that I was going full time, I believe I had 200 to 300 subs somewhere in there,
Mhm.
and I think I was averaging like 35 or 36 viewers.
Mhm.
Um, so it was definitely premature, definitely a little bit scary, but when you have that time, and when you have more
Mhm.
time to put into it, um, then it's just crazy what it can lead to. So
Did you have any sort of like realization moment? Like, cause you said you're like, all right, I'll give myself a few months and we'll see if this works or not. What was that moment where you're like, all right, this is actually working. Like I could actually do this for real. Like,
yeah, so if I'm being straight up honest, it got scary for a little while. It got scary for a little while because I
mm-hmm,
mean, AT&T was a good job. They definitely took care of us a little bit. Not something I wanted to do for the rest of my life, obviously.
mm-hmm,
Um, but it was scary, man. You start to see that like bank account go in the wrong direction
mm-hmm,
for a little while. It got a little bit nerve wracking for a little bit, but the aha moment was so I went full time technically in June, I believe it was, of 2020. Yeah, June 2020. Um, when it started to get later in the year of the MLB 20, yeah, MLB 20 game cycle, um, some of the creators started to dwindle off. Some of the Madden guys were doing their thing and all that stuff. I stayed extremely consistent on MLB, and I just started to see the viewership number start to go up and up and up, and then the sub numbers started to go with it.
mm-hmm,
I hit a couple big milestones, ended up getting partnered in December that year. And as soon as I got partnered, obviously that's never the end all be all.
mm-hmm.
But that was kind of the moment that I was like, okay, I really think that I could do this for a long time and make this into something.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. And it kind of leads us into kind of the first topic that I wanted to talk about. Especially you talking about like how the bank account was going in the wrong direction, maybe. Um, and it can be tough, man, to justify, the funds that you make while being a content creator. And I just want to know, we don't always talk about the money we make on Twitch. It doesn't matter how much we make, but I think it's important that we touch on the fact that, people do this full time. They have their source of income from it, but we may not all start off at the same spot. So I'm just curious, what did you guys spend your first few paychecks on uh, as a content creator? And how do you kind of value the money you make as a content creator?
So before I say something about that, well, I want to touch on what Truman was just saying just before, right? So when
Mm-hmm.
he just said, going full time, I think that just being able to verbalize that and say that's half the battle. It's almost
Yeah.
like, have you noticed that there's a bit of a stigma with people
Mm-hmm.
that are like, I don't want to say that I've gone full time because people
Yeah.
will make fun of me.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot give a fucking shit about what people
Yeah.
think. You can't
Yep.
care about what your
Yep.
parents think. You can't care about what your friends think. The sooner that if you want to do something, I say this all the time, you literally need to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
sweet. Judge me all I want. I don't give a shit about your opinion
Yes.
because two things speak volume, right? Commitment and work ethic. I don't give a shit what you say. If I'm going to be full time and I've got 300 subs, I don't care. If I'm in a
Yeah.
position to try, I'm going to say that I'm going to do this. I'm going to visualize it and then I'm going to work to try to pull it into fruition. and then fuck everybody else. So one, I love that you know that you were aware, true, that you know you felt that pressure and you were worried about like that wasn't even judgment for you. It was just the zeros and you and Maddie being able to pay bills and things. It can be stress there, but the sooner people get the courage to fully commit, the sooner you're going to see more people be successful and be full-time content creators rather than maybe a percentage of people that I bet you we've lost greats of full-time content creators that would have been amazing just because of judgment and that they were terrified of opinions of other people.
Yeah,
Well,
and
Sorry, I need to get it out my chest.
no, and
No.
that's actually it seems like, at least for the people around me and the people that I've seen, every time I've seen them make that statement, it's almost like a shift in mindset almost.
Yeah.
And like you're putting that out there like I'm full time and I'm going to do this 100%, and more often than not it ends up working out. So it's just crazy what you put out into the world, and you know these things.
Something I want to say
true.
about that real quick too.
Yeah.
What I've kind of come to learn with it is like it's not necessarily like when people say full time, I don't more so think of it like a number, you know, like a viewer number or a sub number. In my opinion, if you're putting in 8 hours a day plus doing this, even if you have another
You are.
job or a side job, you're full time. That's full time,
Yeah.
is it not?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're putting in that time, like it doesn't matter if you have 0 viewers, 1,000 viewers, 0 subs, 500 subs, whatever. You know, if you're putting in that much time to it, how could you not call it full time?
Right. I want people to understand that the way I found success in this space, right, and I did it pretty quickly. And I'm this is not me being. That's just what it is. Not me saying anything arrogant. Okay, the moment that you understand that you have to invest that time to find success, especially if you want to do it quickly. I'll use an analogy, right? When you go to college, you can do 4 years and you can do it in semester. This is Australia anyway. 4 years in semester. Now, if you're an older student, a mature age student, I can go to this one college and it's called Bond, and I can do trimesters and get it done in 2.5. And now I'm in the workforce earlier. So if you want to speed up your content creation journey quicker because you've started a little later, you need to increase your workload and be consistent, right? And not worry about people making fun of you for being a loser online all the time. Those are people that don't have the same vision as you, the resilience or enough fucking work ethic to keep going. And when you do get success, you'll notice that those same people come circling back. Oh, hey man, great, respect the grind. It's like, all right, sweet. Keep that energy over there. I'll use an example. I watched when Daddy Dimmu put out a tweet and it said, hey, going full time. I watched a bunch of fucking people clown him, like 30 of them. And I'm like, this is so funny. Because I'm an older guy anyway. And like at the time, like I'd been through everything. I was a professional with fucking, you know, in 2018, still when Joe Mauer and Ortiz were playing with and against them in rehab Simon. And then, so I've been through a bunch of shit. I've been through ups and downs in life, and I've always kept a good head. When I saw this, I'm like, this is just watching people want to see people fail is the most hilarious thing in the world to me. Because it's like, you're wasting so much energy on worrying about something else, and these are the same people that stay stagnant their whole lives in these same positions. The moment you lose that negative mindset and focus on yourself and work hard, you'll find that good things start happening to you.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
Couldn't have said it better. And that's why you're here, man. You're here to just drop that knowledge bomb on us.
Man, painful to watch, dude. I felt I know obviously I'm not going to call anybody out, big name guys. There was some big name guys that were making fun of Daddy Dimmu. Now this is a guy at one point this year, I think was at 6,000 subscriptions. He's moved into a variety streamer. People will watch him do anything. And all these cocksuckers, excuse my French, I watched it happen 2 years ago. And I'm like, I kept my receipts. I'm like, you guys are just haters. And then you're the same guys that circle back and swing from testicles when someone's successful. And like, I remember that stuff. Like, if you're listening at home, do yourself a favor. Don't be that little Timmy and Tommy. Don't be that person. Focus on yourself, work hard. And every one of the people that I speak to, I always tell them, I'm like, everyone can be a streamer and a content creator. Everyone. It's not easy by any means, but if you're resilient and you don't quit and you're willing to adapt and invest back in yourself, and you will find a level of success. Like, period. It's just the fact of it. And people just don't realize that. It's just that people tap out pretty quickly when things get a little rocky. You know, when I say rocky, this is what rocky is. Oh, I've been streaming for 3 months and I went from 50 followers to, I got to 100. Now it's like drips and drabs. And they don't understand that like numbers will grow exponentially, and you got to forget about that kind of stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like be resilient, keep going.
I think the only thing you really can measure is your own work that you put into it, right? Like the numbers will
Yeah.
come, right? And a lot of times, I mean, I got into this hole myself, and I know a lot of other people have too, that you get too fixated on one thing and you forget the reason why you're doing it, and you forget
Yeah.
that the work is the most important part of it, and trying to
Mhm.
constantly improve instead of, oh, this stream only had 20 viewers. Why is that? Why am I? And then you're just digging yourself further and further into a hole. And then all of a sudden you're upset for the wrong reasons, and that's happened
Yeah.
to so many people. So,
I feel like I could look at every single streamer that's within our community, and most of these guys are like my friends and people that I'm always willing to give my time if there's ever a phone call they need or whatever. I could look at every single one of them and be like, it would take me within like 2 hours to give them like a little package and be like, follow this and you'll and watch your success change. And that's like, I know myself what I need to do, and then I can see someone like Truman who found sustained success, right? Being able to make that transition and average over that 1,000 sub count, right? And I think Truman knows it's like, but everybody has different living circumstances, right?
Right.
We've all got different bills, we've all got different things on the side. Not everyone can just go with this one thing over here. There has to be a bit of balance. But I think everyone's got a different level. Like I think for you, Day, it was down to being able to find that, being able to get consistent with it, or like maybe there's a bit of that thing where it's like, I've got my job over here, and you'd 100% find success and be. I've said this. You'd easily be a partner, just consistently. You'd get the momentum and grow.
Totally
Truman
agree.
himself found incredible success. Right? Like look at this.
mhm.
I every single thing you see here is paid all outright from Twitch month to month.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
pay for one thing, take out anything out of expense. What I didn't do was get a paycheck and spend it rewarding myself with something. Like,
Yep.
oh, I'll go out and party, I'll go do this. Every month, because I'm a little older, I understood business. I'd been involved in property and I'd owned homes, and I've done this since professional baseball. I would grab that month to month and buy the next thing that I needed, right? Now, Truman found success without even really upgrading his thing, just consistency, high level of gameplay, and connecting with his community. Now, everyone can keep his edge would be to then expanding what he wants to do with his product.
Yep.
He's done it a whole different. He found a different blueprint, and I found a different blueprint. You know what I mean? Now there's no one meta, but there's many. And if you can
Mhm.
find a way to hybrid them and then be consistent and have the courage to not worry about being judged,
Yep.
or just forget about the biggest thing that really weighs us down is we really value our parents' opinions, our
Yeah.
siblings'
Mm.
opinions, our
Yeah.
peers' opinions,
Mm.
and we're embarrassed. We don't want to be seen on our own personal social medias as like that guy, because we'll be like, oh, a loser. The moment you let go of that, the moment you become the freest person you can imagine, it's like the art of not giving a fuck. You just need to not care. And every single person is already right there. Consistency is the key, and the quality of what you're delivering, and then making sure that your business model is good. Care and just keep fucking investing back into yourself and making the right upgrades, smart upgrades to your product, your
Mhm.
brand, and everyone would succeed. And it's painful for me to watch from a distance sometimes. I'm like, man, I'd love to just get my hands on this fucking person, you know?
Well, it's funny
Sorry, man,
because
but I'm passionate about that.
that question I asked about 10 minutes ago finally just came full circle. So that's hilarious,
Yeah.
actually. I knew,
And
I
there's
mean,
more to it.
there's
We'll
definitely
touch
a lot
more on
more, but
it.
But
We can get into detail later in this podcast, man. There's some hacks. There's some real detailed hacks. I'm sure the viewers, and they're with their notepads right now, waiting to hear what Truman you got to say. And like, get your notepads out because there's some real detailed stuff. If you guys want to take this down,
Well, I just think it's really important because like when people start off streaming, especially at the beginning, they're not relying on Twitch for their income.
Mhm.
So I think it's very important to put those first initial Twitch checks right back into improving your setup. Because
Yeah.
what I tell, because I mean, Mango's Day, you guys are, you guys probably get this question all the time. It's either viewers or smaller content creators that are like, hey, I really want to get going. What can I do to, like what can I do to improve my stream? What can I do, to get more viewers, whatever. But what I always tell people is you got to really invest in yourself, and those first few Twitch checks are where you start because at the end
Mhm.
of the day, unless you're a top player in the world like Weens who can get partner without even a camera, um, why would a viewer want to watch somebody, this isn't like I'm not bashing anybody that does this, but viewers are going to be less likely to watch people that are just like streaming off a PlayStation with maybe a lesser mic than somebody with the whole shebang setup wise. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? You got to really invest in all that and you got to nail your production. You got to really cover all those bases
You got to bring the dancing
because
cats out.
exactly,
Dance with cats.
exactly. But
That's
no,
so
I
true.
really I really do feel like, if you are somebody that wants to make a big time go at content creation, you have to invest in yourself. It's absolutely imperative. You got to separate yourself from everybody else somehow.
It's so true because like that word invest. Like it's so easy to just take that money that you earned and just use it on your own, right?
Correct.
But that's like the first step, right? Is making that commitment to the stream.
Yep.
Like if we didn't stream, we wouldn't need all this stuff, you know?
Mm-mm.
Like we wouldn't need
Yeah.
half of it. But
No.
we do it because we believe in our, in ourselves and in product and all that. And it's really true. It's like the first thing that you can do to just make that commitment and make that investment. And
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know about you guys too, but like when you really started to start buying your, upgraded stream equipment, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, for the first time,
Motivates you, doesn't
it,
it?
it does. Like
Mhm.
that is the most excited
Yep.
that I've ever been in my
Oh
life
yeah.
streaming. Like, when I
Mhm.
got this mic right here, man, when I went to Best Buy and picked up this mic, upgraded from like the freaking, I don't know, $20 USB mic that I could find off Amazon. I was so fired up to hook it up and get going. And I
Yep.
think that's really cool too.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that and knowing that you did it off your own work and like the support
Yep.
of your community too, it just means so much more too, in my opinion.
Yep.
Like
I
I
Yeah.
agree.
remember the
That's
first day I picked up that PC and I felt like a brand new man. I pressed the button
Yeah.
and everything freaking started spinning and the lights started going everywhere and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I made it, bro. You know?
You got to motivate yourself. You have to have like those, you got to keep finding every day your reason why. You know what I mean? Like you
Mhm.
have to keep motivating yourself to have the fuel because, like when you are grinding long hours every day, it's like you have to be in that state of like constantly. I'd said this before, like, dude, people don't realize this. When I get up and I get my day going, I'll shower, I'll get in front of the mirror, and I will literally talk to myself like an idiot. Like, it's an uncomfortable conversation. I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, come on, man, you got this. Like, ugh. Even when I'm feeling tired, I'm exhausted so often, and the stream would never know because I snap myself out of it in the mirror and I never
Yep.
take that into the stream, right? And I do that every freaking day because it's built into me from like my work ethic that
Mhm.
I
Yep.
worked from the age of 13 and 14 to sign a contract. I could have gone to Vanderbilt, I could have gone to TCU. And then I had like 5 different offers to play with different professional organizations because I knew what it took to find success. And every time I was trying to do that in baseball through high school, I kept tricking myself with motivation carrots like, oh, I'm going to buy this car. And then when I got the money, I never bought the car.
Mhm.
And then by the time I got the money, I was like, oh, I don't want that super from Fast and Furious. It was
Right.
it was washed and it was old. But I
Uh-huh.
used those things to give me this fuel to keep going. And if you
Right.
don't find that, you'll find you'll start to your flame will extinguish a little bit. You have to find that.
Can you
It's
bring us
just
into one of those conversations you have with yourself?
man, seriously, like just waking up and being old and washed and being sore and tired and already doing stuff the moment the stream goes off. I just wake up and I'll be like, the biggest thing is just making noise. I'm like, come on, you got this, you got this.
Uh-huh.
Because everyone it's in human nature for us to almost want to find excuses why not to do something. And the
Yeah.
moment they start to seep into your head, just go, snap out of it, snap out of it, you got it. And then I'll just like, I'll make a noise, I'll yell.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much how I'd come in from the bullpen. When I'd be in the bullpen getting warm and I wouldn't be feeling good, I'd be like, come on, fuck. And I'd like, throw a ball and be like,
Mm-hmm.
I'd psych myself up and I'd go out there, I'd get the rosin bag and be like, and I'd do that on the days that I felt like shit,
Yep.
just so I could get through those 3 outs and bridge the gap to the closer or get the last 3 outs of the game while I was closing. That you don't feel good some days and you got to
Mm-hmm.
find ways to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
if you can find that every day and I say it, you'll be successful in. Like it's a recipe that everyone can use and they'll find success. Just crazy.
That's the hardest hurdle in my opinion. Is
Yeah.
is showing up on the days you don't want to. That is
Yeah.
the
Yep.
biggest hurdle in life. I'll just say in life in general. It obviously applies to streaming, but man, some days, and I know you guys could probably have testament to that, but you just don't want to do it. And then the craziest part is those days where you feel the worst, you turn on a stream, it's the best stream you've had in months. You know?
Yeah.
Isn't
Yep.
that crazy how that works?
That is so real, man. So
Mhm.
real. And you laugh about it afterwards. You
Yeah.
might be like,
You're like,
Truman
I
might be
almost didn't
sitting
go
on the
live.
couch.
Mhm.
Yeah, Truman would be sitting on the couch, right? And he'll be like, oh man, he's exhausted after he streamed and
Yep.
he's like probably wound down. He's just laughing with Madison. He's like, dude, I was feeling like shit and that just went crazy. And she'd
Yep.
probably be like, really? And I have
Mhm.
that same conversation with my Madison. And
Yep.
when those days happen, there's a little seed that gets planted in your head, in your mind. You'll remember that every fucking day. And you'll be like,
Yes.
well, there was a day where I didn't want to go live and I did, and it went crazy. And
Correct.
I met some people, built connections. It was good. And you just need a few of those to remind you, and you hold on to those little memories, and that keeps the fuel kind of going.
Mhm.
Well, and
It's
the other thing about that too is like, um, every time that you might not hit the live button or make a YouTube video, whatever it may be, there's always somebody else that is. You know,
Mhm.
we all can eat. We all can eat. There's nothing wrong with that. But every day that you might not want to go live, there will always be other people that are.
Mhm.
That's the
Facts.
thing
Yeah.
that I always think about. So
Yeah. There's always someone out working you. You know what I mean?
correct. There's always somebody out
And
working you. Exactly.
we talk about that in baseball. You played collegiate baseball, Truman, and our coaches, when at whatever level of baseball we play, it's always something we talk about. It's like, make sure that you're always out there working. If you're not,
Yeah.
someone's out working you, you know?
Exactly.
So, and that's not to be like malicious. Oh, I want to outwork this guy. It's
Yeah.
just knowing that and understanding that that's just what the facts are. And if you
Yeah.
understand it, you realize, all right, well, life's hard. Everybody has to, if you want to elevate to an elite position of anything, you've got to work hard and have honest conversations with yourself, right?
Right.
You know, and what Truman was saying earlier, right? And we were talking about the different blueprints of how to find success. Truman's a top 50 player. You got Chev, a top 50 player. You got all these different people, and there's some people that are ass that are like super successful. As long as you understand where your lane is and what brings value, show your community that you're growing that I might not have this, this, and this, but I can give you value in this. Like have those
Yeah.
conversations. Don't get down because you're not Weens, Kreiner, or Truman or someone
Yeah.
else. But people might, even if it's a lull stream, and they'll tune in just to watch him work people over for fucking 6 straight games. Find the other thing.
Mhm.
Every single person has got some information or help that they can provide for someone, and you need to figure that out. And once you do that, there's a space for everybody. You don't need to be this goon. You don't need to be
Yeah.
this super funny guy, but you have to find something. And we'll touch on monetization soon to give motivation to your community to want to support you because they believe in something that you're creating and they
Right.
want to help you be a part of it to grow it.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
And the job doesn't end when the stream's over, man. People think that, and it's like business. Once you become a full-time streamer, you're a business now, and business is difficult, man. And people think, oh, I'm a business owner. Now I don't have to turn up for, oh, I was working, not 9 hours a day for 5 days a week. And then you're like, now you're a business owner. It's like, now I work 24 hours a fucking day. And that's so
Yep.
real.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep.
you work more the moment you think you're going to be like, oh, well, now I don't have a boss telling me what to do. And you find that you work more. So
Yep.
it's not easy by any means.
No, we were talking to Ants about that last time, and basically he was saying all that extra time that he had when he, quit his job, that goes all towards what he would have done if he was a full-time streamer, like you just fill the gaps in and then you find more and more and more to add on to it. But
Yeah.
it does lead us into this conversation, which I really wanted to be like, I really wanted to touch on that because you guys are so special in this aspect because you have such a loving and supportive community that is willing to show up, and they see the value in you, and they, and Mangoes and TJ both have been, well over 1,000 subs on a consistent basis, which is something that is extremely hard to do in this world, in this content creator world. Talk about just making partner and all that and getting views and all that. You're adding, now you're able to like support yourself on this. And I just really want to touch on like what you think is the reason you guys have built this community, why you guys are so different, and any sort of advice you can give to how you built this world you've made for yourself.
True. Hat.
So
You shoot first.
I think it starts when you begin your journey. I think you set the tone as your community grows for what type of community that it's going to be. And I'm just super proud that mine is made up of a bunch of men and women that are supportive, that are good people, that are positive, etc. And obviously you set the tone for that as the streamer. But I think it's about just making everybody feel welcome. You know what I mean? I always tell my chat, we talk about this a lot. We're all brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? It's like we're hanging out in a big PlayStation party. It's not like this barrier between the streamer and the chat. This is a whole group effort. And I feel like when you bring that attitude into it, then the people, the viewers will have a better experience and therefore pay it forward, whether it be, subs, bits, etc., whatever it may be. So I think it's solely just being very fortunate with the type of community that I've been able to create. And I know Mangoes is the exact same way. Two of the best communities in my eyes, not only in MLB The Show, but on Twitch in general. I fully believe that.
Me too.
I think sorry to cut you off, TJ.
No, you're good.
You can hop right back in, but I just want to touch on that. Like it's so important, right, to have that sort of vibe where anyone can hop in, and especially I think with the world that we're dealing with right now today and the whole 2020s and everything that we've been dealing with, to be able to like hop into your stream and know that your vibes are going to be high, everyone is happy to see each other, and it's just generally a positive conversation, like that is so rare in today's world. And I think it's so important, and it takes a special type of person to have that that persona where you're letting everyone in, and the most important part I think I should add to this is none of it is forced. Like,
No.
I met you in person, you are just as genuine of a person as I know, and
Thank you.
I think that's an extremely important part of it too. So that's all I have to say.
Well, I appreciate that. So, but no, I mean that's our job, right? That's our job. Like if people come in to forget about the stuff that might be going in, or that might be going on in the real world, or that might be going on at work, or etc. Everybody has problems, and my job is to try my best to make people forget about said problems for a few hours every night. So
yeah.
You got
So
anything to
so
add, main goes?
yeah, so right, it's pretty like it's kind of it's a little bit complex, right? And what Truman was saying when like it starts from when you first start going, right? There's levels to as you're moving up this pyramid to get to this kind of apex. And initially when you first start, you're going to have to be using some of your own money. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
you want to get the things that you need, and then once you start getting momentum and you are getting those little paychecks, like I was saying before, you buy and you upgrade and do things. But a big part of it is you need to care, right? Like I
Yeah.
can't stress this enough. Like people will completely, I always say this, if you work on yourself as a person off stream and then you can take that onto the stream and be that same person, like work on yourself off and then demonstrate who you are on the stream. Now you've got something cooking, right? Now you're showing people you've got value, you care about them. It's not just some fake caring thing. Get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't typecast yourself as like a lot of the people think that it's about views, right? And people couldn't
Yeah.
figure this out when I was explaining it. It's like, I just want to get the viewer numbers up, the follower numbers up. Well, what good's follower numbers if you've got 20,000 followers and they're all, all of them are primarily 15 and 14 years old.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need to be very aware
Mm-hmm.
to be able to relate to the youngsters and care about what they have because they've got a different perspective. They're in 2022 and they're trying to relate to you with their life that's going on in high school. And then you've got the guys that are coming in and they want to see that you care about their level of issues with their grown men or grown women and their working day to
Yep.
day. Show everyone that you can relate to what's going on in everyone's lives at different age brackets because those older guys and women are going to be the ones that can really actually afford to support and be a part of and want to grow something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So if you don't connect with them, what's the point of having 100,000, 50,000 if they're all young kids that are in high school or year nine? These are kids with mum's credit card, and they
Right.
get the get. So you have to, build that level of relationships with the mature age guys, you know what I mean, and women.
And
And that's why when you come into my stream, you'll see that like there's a demographic of I've got the young crew, right?
Yeah.
But then I've got the guys that are like, 21, 22 to 40, 45, and they'll hang out, and and they'll hang out because the weekend rolls in and they might not have things anything to do or after work and they'll want to hang out and have conversation. They'll want to kick it and talk about life and then all the viewers that are in your chat because you've brought in quality and you've weeded out people that are just toxic or trolls or whatever. Now you're working on quality, not just the quantity, and that's when it's sustainable.
Yep.
Like I'm not even at 10,000 followers, right? And I've averaged over 1,500 subs for 1,600 subs for over a year,
Yeah.
13 months, right? With like 4 months over 2,000, 1 month over 3,000, and then 2 months like in the high 2,000. So it's like you got to build that. Like you have to really give a shit. Don't
Yeah.
fake it. You need to care. Like you have to. And they need to see that you're fucking serious. If they think if you support someone, right, and month to month things stay the same, it's like it's just a hi, how you going? Oh, you'll just be here for the game. No, they're here because they're your friends now. They're like
Yeah.
your extended community and family. And that's why Truman's done so well, similar to myself, because he gives a shit, right? It's not some fake bullshit fugazi thing where people roll in and like, this guy doesn't really care. No, we care what's going on in
Yeah.
your lives. If you come in here and you care about this stream and growing something in here and being a part of this community and you want this thing to get bigger and you like the direction it's going and we're projected to get bigger and better and you want to support it, well, I'm going to give a shit about what's going on in your life.
Yep.
And as I get bigger, if I can help you or connect people within my stream and then give other people jobs and help other people and connect them and make their life easier. Now you're not coming in for my entertainment on my stream. You're coming in because there's value being a part of it. It's
Yep.
similar to a Discord server with like NFT or whatever. You become part of a community and now there's value in being in that squad. You're in that Truce Troops, or you're in the Majors Privates, or if you're in that squad, you've got value. You've got resources available to you. You've got connections. You come in, you ask a question, boom. If I don't know it or if I don't have the resource for you, I've got someone I'll direct you to. And now you'll invest in it, you know, and people need to understand that. Don't think you're not Nick Merckx. No one's turning up because you're just melting, all right? Like, make something bigger. Think outside the box. Be bigger than fucking, I play video games, people tune in. No, I want to create something, and I want to, almost like it's a golf membership. If you're a fucking membership of golf, you're part of it, and there's value in everybody together that helps out with business with one another. And every year it gets bigger. We take it to another level. Now there's more value being involved in it.
Few things.
Huge.
One, if you are not inspired after hearing Mangoes, then you are just not listening. You're just not listening at all.
I'm passionate. Yep. I'm so passionate about that shit, man.
And I think it's really important too that you touched on all aspects, like not only like the older people but the younger people as well. And I feel like some people are looked down on because, you know, they're more intrusive or they're more inclusive, and maybe, you know, some like quote unquote PG streamers or people like, you know, people we know like Scan or Raid just don't like curse a lot. But like, I think the most important part is that you're bringing everyone together, and it doesn't matter, you know, how young or how old they are, and just making it feel like they have value in your community. So I think,
whether you curse or you drink on stream or you know, I'm a big believer in, I think if you want to be not a content creator, but if you want to find success in just the streaming space, right? I've always believed it's not great to just accommodate for, be like, oh, we're family friendly and do this. No, be uniquely yourself and be honest. Yeah. And it's okay that you swear and if you do certain things, but what's not okay is people that come in and the moment they bring good energy, and even if they don't, if anyone rolls in, everyone gets treated with respect. They get protected. They don't get no one gets bullied coming in. You roll in with the right foot. Everyone gets treated well, right? If you have to do that, like just roll in, you know, it's a space that we all respect one another, and it just keeps growing. Like it'll just grow.
Well,
it's wild.
I would love to just talk about this forever. So we're gonna have to bring you guys back again. But I know TJ, you have to get out here soon, right?
I'm good for whatever y'all want to do.
Okay. Well,
cool.
You know what I want to talk about, Dave?
Yeah.
What this is something that I also want to like let people know that might be listening, and maybe you guys need to hear it. Maybe some of the other Dugout Creative guys need to hear this as well, right? I spoke before about a bit of a stigma when it comes to like saying you're going full time. Well, there's another stigma, and I've seen other people talk about it, right? If you really want to start monetizing and growing, right? You're doing this, and this to be able to be full time and do this, it's not, you can't just do it without monetizing. Okay. Now, there's a stigma with people will be like, oh, panhandling or blah, blah, blah. Listen, it is okay to provide a fucking community a service, provide value, and be fairly compensated for it. It'd be like, imagine if I owned a furniture store and people came in and it's like I crafted great furniture, and it's just like, oh, I better not ask for this price because I'm panhandling. No, you're providing a good service. You care about the people that are within that community or your customers, and the people that can compensate you. It's okay to talk about it on stream. If you really want to monetize it, you're not demanding it. You're not getting butthurt if people can't. That's far from it. But to be able to have those conversations on stream, don't be uncomfortable doing that. If you are, you're gonna really, really you're really gonna hurt your own brand. You need to have conversations throughout it and just be like, just go, hey, you know, we're gonna probably shoot for this. If we don't get to this goal, this stream, that's all right, no worries. And on every other day, the people that can pick you up will pick you up, and the people that don't, still they get the same love, care, and respect. And then the young kids that can never. I've got like 5 mods that have never even subbed to my channel once. You want to know why? Because they've been there every day and provided value. Like they work every day because they believe in it. So there'll be a moderator in my chat, and never subbed. And it's like this person over here may have gifted 50 over the course of a couple months or 3 months, right? And this person's a mod because he provides value. He works, he's there, he puts up links, he'll time people out if necessary. He'll look if someone asks a question, he'll redirect them to the right person. So just understand if you are a viewer and you're part of a community, if you can't subscribe and help your favorite content creator or community financially, show them that you've got value in other areas and you are just as special as the person that drops a 50 or a 20 bomb. Remember that.
Facts.
Yep.
But have those
Facts.
conversations with the community as you're growing, and you watch the ecosystem just becomes legendary.
Yep.
You've got the crew that helps you, that's there, that's doing it. It's like, hey man, I'm in university right now. I can barely afford to pay for books and food and tuition, but they've provided value otherwhere. And then you've got other guys that are a part of it and do similar things to that, but also like they're working and they've got aspirations to be a streamer, like, and they'll give you, hey man, got paid. Here's 5 subs, man. Love you, bro. We'll catch you next week or the week after, whenever I can. And it's all love like that. But don't get down because you think you want to feel bad about yourself for having conversations about talking about subs or monetization and things like that. The machine stops if we don't bring in revenue. We can't grow if we don't bring in revenue. So you need to aspire to do that. And if anyone else says that, they're stupid and they're going to fail in whatever business that they do. Go open a furniture store and start giving away your shit for free then. And watch how quickly watch how quickly you close your doors.
Facts. Well,
But provide good products or services.
This is the first thing that I know people are going to ask, so I'm just going to ask you. What if I I don't know how to ask for subs. I don't know, and I'm just saying from just a common standpoint, like I don't know, I'm afraid to ask, like and it kind of goes to that panhandling, and how do you answer that question? Do people come into your stream and be like,
you know how you do it, and you're not asking, right?
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to what I was just saying. Make sure you're accommodating the youngsters. You're connecting with them, but you're also connecting on a maturity level with the people that really care about you, that do have jobs and are in a position to be able to do that, right?
Yep.
And you don't ask for them. You just got these are the goals we're going to say. Hey, we'll shoot for this stream. Oh, or like, hey, well, let's try to get to five subs or 10 subs, and we'll do this, right? And if you don't achieve that, that's fine.
Yep.
But you can mention that and say that. I promise you, if you are providing value and you give a shit about people, it will display itself within your sub count and monetization. Yep. It will sort itself out. And if some months are smaller than others, so be it. Right? Yep. But if you don't have that conversation, it comes down to, let's talk about Artisan, right? Or sponsorships.
Let's just go sponsorships. I don't want to.
Right.
Let's just put it. Let's just overall.
It's an uncomfortable conversation, right? So say that no. So what I mean is, so how do you know your value within a sponsorship if you don't ask questions? So why are you going to be like, oh well, I'll ask for this with sponsorships, but I won't mention that we're trying to do this with our goals within a month of streaming, or what you're trying to achieve. You need to understand that, like, it's okay to like just mention or have conversations about the goals that you're trying to achieve. That's fine. Otherwise, what are you going to do? You're going to be that person that just wants to be a part of any sponsorship just to legitimize yourself. You need to understand your worth and make sure that once you do that and you are receiving some support from people, don't fuck up. Keep working hard.
Yep.
It's your responsibility to make sure that you fucking care and that you're going to keep providing them with fucking a community. And you're going to, if they need help, you're going to work after hours. You might be off stream and it might be a message. It might be a fucking Discord call. Like, the job's not over. And when you display that, people know that there's value being a part of your thing. So work harder. Work harder. Have conversations about it. Don't be uncomfortable about it. We're all fucking old enough and ugly enough. I don't know why there's a stigma and people are uncomfortable speaking about it. I know Truman's not going to rock up and work at AT&T for free. If his boss, I'll say this as well. Say you work with a company for 5 years, right? And I hear people come into my stream sometimes and be like, oh man, the other day I had a guy, Pete, came, he's like, man, I was working and I worked up some courage and I spoke to my boss and I said, hey man, I'm doing a pretty good job. I've been here. I turn up. I'm always on time. Is there any chance I can get a raise? Just a $3 raise? an hour. Hey, you know what, Petey? You know what? You are, man. I appreciate the value you bring. No worries, man. Boom. Now, if he never had that conversation, 2 more years would go by and he left that on the table.
Yep.
Understand that. This is the
Yep.
difference why I feel like sometimes I look kind of young and I dress like a kid still, probably like a skateboarder from fucking the 1990s. But I've got that life experience to understand those conversations are okay to have with people, right? And it's okay to receive a no, and it's okay to receive a yes. But if
Yep.
you don't have conversations, you leave everything on the table. Warren Buffett's not giving his CFOs fucking 500 million or $20 million raises if they don't have conversations with him.
Yep.
No one's just going to go out of their way to fucking be like, oh, here you go, man, you didn't ask for it. Like, yes, some people will, but you got to understand that if you want to be serious about this thing. And you know,
Well, here's the thing about that too, and I agree with you. And the way that I like to compare it is like, unless you got somebody's login, you don't get Netflix for free, right? You don't get Hulu. You got to pay for HBO Max, all that good stuff, right? You got to pay for
what
all
about your
that stuff.
internet? What about just your internet at your house to run the
Yeah, yeah,
ship?
yeah, like all that good
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, you know, you could think of that as a content creator kind of the same way on Twitch, but it
Mhm.
goes full circle because, the kids, the people that might not be in the position to sub or gift or whatever it may be. How we were talking about sponsorships, that all comes full circle because when a company might be looking at you, they're going to look at that viewer count. And that's where they're providing that value. Those lurkers, the people, the kids, they're there every night, right? And they attribute to you possibly getting some of those sponsorships because of what your viewer count is due to them. You know what I mean? So that's where it all comes full circle to me when you're talking
Yeah.
about everybody providing value. That's to me where it really really comes full circle.
hmm My blueprint would be quality of your content, consistency, not initially when you start. Just so you know, initially, don't just go for volume initially. Go for quality, right?
Yeah.
Because the reason why is once you do that and you build something, now you do have some capital coming in, and now the volume comes, right? So now you're sustainable with a bit of capital and you've got quality, you've already established that and you care, and now you get the numbers. Now you start to get the numbers growth. And then when you look at your monthly minutes watched on live streams and it's up over 1 million, 2 million, right? A month. Now you've got bargaining power with sponsorships to be like, hey man, if you sponsor me and you put up whatever it is, say it's G Fuel or Red Bull on my camera, I'll put up a thing there, I'll put a link in the chat as well. You've got 2 million minutes of live people seeing your brand on my stream. Now, if you were to grab a billboard and they do like a pressure test on that freeway, and that's like, oh, there's this many people drive and they see it, and we figured out that this many people will actually see that billboard, you get more people seeing a brand from the minutes watching your stream.
Yep.
Understand your value there. And if more streamers knew that and backed off it and these sponsors would have to open up their wallets and realize, well, we can start paying them more and it's still cheaper than paying for an internet space on a website or this.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We can pay them still 75% less and we get maybe 500% more attention. And the only way that that's going to stop is similar to what we're seeing in baseball is if everybody understands it and just backs off and goes, no, well, we'll all kind of almost unionize and you'll have to pay us a little bit of instead of just percentage or products, we want just maybe some small retainers week to week so that we can keep going and your product gets seen every day on our stream. We stream every day, stream for 4 or 5 hours. At the end of the month, there's 2 million minutes of your product being seen on our cam. So it's just that business mindset, but you can't get to that point that Truman's really talking about if you want to be a full-time streamer, unless you're streaming and working on the site. You need the capital first to give you that security to make upgrades. And then when you've got a product like this, and you're honed in and good at what you're doing, the volume will eventually come with you being consistent anyway. People find you,
100%.
every
Yep,
day
I
someone
agree
will
with that.
click, they'll hear what you say, you'll connect with them, they'll type something, you respond, you care about their opinion, what they got to say, you communicate, and they'll stay, they'll come back.
Yeah.
And now you build a relationship with them week to week, man. And now you've got this machine that's just consistent and keeps rolling. And now you jump into TikTok and then you do what Little Man did. You go on to TikTok, you start going viral there, and then you get that volume from there, or you start doing the YouTube videos and you get the lurkers and the volume from there. You've got this consistent base of streaming viewers that have been rolling with you, that have connected with you every day, that will support you financially to allow you to do this and grow this brand and this vision that each content creator has. That's the blueprint.
Yep.
Yeah, it really is. Man, I literally could not say it better myself. So,
Yep.
I mean, like I said, we could go over this. Like, I mean, it's just so much good information, man. If you guys are listening right now and you guys want any sort of blueprint, man, Mango's just literally just dropped it on the table for you guys. And I'm so thankful.
Free.
And it inspires me too, because, you know, I think we can all strive to be better. And just hearing that just gives me more inspiration, you know. But
Dave, if you're hang on, Dave, if you're open and honest with yourself, do you think like, you know, the things that you need to do already, right? I think you know the things that you're going to do, and I think that you're already stepping into that arena this year, and I think you got that motivation after the Dugout Creative, and I think it's going to be your year to lose, man. So go take it with both hands, bro.
Man, yeah,
we'll support you.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, we can get deep for a sec, but man, life hit me real tough this last year. For those that don't know, I lost my my father-in-law last year, and that really just, I didn't even care. I had no motivation. You know, when you lose someone like that, it's like, fuck streaming. Who gives a shit? I can't turn on the stream and be happy, you know? And it took me a lot, man. Dude, Dugout Creative, all these guys, all you guys, man, you guys freaking took me out of that hole and you just drugged me out even when I wanted to go back in that hole.
Let's go.
You know, now I finally feel like I got my life together, you know. I've given myself time to grieve, and now I'm you know, I'm ready to move on to the next part of my life, you know. So I mean, that's something real big that I feel like definitely contributed to all that, and it just, like, life is just, it'll just hit you, bro. It'll just hit you, and you just got to pick yourself up.
Dave, first of all, I'm glad that you brought that up, and I'm glad that you shared that with us, so thank you. But second of all, I think you hit on something really important there. With this, it is it's imperative that you have a good support group around you, right? We're all lucky with Dugout Creative that we got each other. But even before that, you know, like the sluggers, like we had each other. I mean, it's big to have people in your corner like that. Absolutely. Man, because with streaming, you're by yourself a lot. You know what I mean? Whether it's working on YouTube, editing, whatever, you're in your room, you're by yourself, you're cut off from, you know, face-to-face human interaction a lot. And I think it is so imperative with what we do to just have a good support group around you for even the reasons that you just said right there, to, you know, pull you up if you need it.
I'd be gone, bro. I wouldn't even be here right now. That is 100% fact. If I had no one in my corner, tough, bro.
Jay. It's so tough because, like, the weight then starts, like, to wake up every day, and then the hardest thing one of the hardest things in life, right, is to wake up and feel helpless to take away the grieving or the pain that someone you care about is going through. And it puts, like, you feel like, you know, pain, like, it's brutal when someone is hurting so much that you care, and there's nothing you can do except for just try to be there and take on extra workload to be there. Life's tough, man. And then the best of the best fight through it, man, and they'll get it done, man. You know, many hands make light work, and everyone pulling the same rope together gets stuff done, brother.
Facts. And that takes us into this next conversation where I want to end this, and we can take it as long as we want, but man, I would be remiss if we did not talk about the Vegas trip. If you guys didn't know, we had the DCCL playoffs in Vegas. We were all on top of a penthouse. Mangoes was there virtually. Man, oh man, what I would have paid to have you there, bro. But man, it was just so good seeing everyone, and like just having these conversations here. they carry on into real life, you know? It's like, you know,
Yep.
it's like me and TJ have known each other for years, you know?
Yeah.
We just
Yep.
have that instant comfortability with each other. And it bringing everyone together, I think inspired everyone even more just to see
100%.
share our stories and know that we are doing something great. And man, I just what was your perspective, Mangoes, from seeing that? I know like it was a little tough because, you know, we weren't there 100%, but we were there 95%, and you know, you had to pick up the 5%, you know. But man, just from your eyes, what were your thoughts on all that?
Man, it was that the whole back end of that year was incredible to start that,
Mhm.
right? And I
Yeah.
think a lot of us all knew one another. Some of us knew each other a little bit longer and more intimately, if you will, like just with personal engagement, right? But when that happened and everybody got together and started to, you know, become this family and this team, really caring about it, every single week and then leading up into that finals, for me to be able to watch it from Australia and be there and just see you guys all together and get around one another, it just inspired everything in the community to understand that you can go to other levels. It's just about what you're willing to do and put on the line to kind of get there. You know what I mean? And like Jeremy bringing everyone together, like that's special, man. It's
Mhm.
it's not something that you will see in a smaller streaming community, which is MLB. We're not Fortnite with 170, 200 million. We're not FIFA. We're not none of this. And we did it with a 20 million online user community, right?
Mhm.
And I thought it was legend. I thought it was absolutely legendary, man. And it was a pleasure to be there and do what I could to try to make those games, you know, super entertaining and be there for you guys and razz you guys and
Bro, there
because
were
I
so
didn't I
many
cared. I cared about you guys, you know?
there were so many big moments too. Like I know we
Yeah.
showed up and we're there to have a good time and all that, but I feel like a show was definitely put on. Like some
Yep.
of those walk-offs with Scan and Ray, like dude, those
Yeah.
games, and to have everyone behind to react, man, there I've never seen anything like it, man.
Wait till the end of this year, man, when we get something we can get something near TwitchCon and
Mhm.
we do something nasty again, man. I just think that that set the tone for where we can and where we will take this thing.
Yep.
And for the viewers at home that are watching, you know, this podcast and things like that, what I will say is, right, I can say this for myself because I'm a part of this Dugout Creative thing, like with content creators, these guys, as far as supporting them, I'll support everybody, but this is like an extended family. They're my priority to support. But you guys at home, what I'd encourage you guys to do is make sure you're always putting your best foot forward
Yeah.
and go
Mhm.
into a Truman stream, go into a Day stream, go into Swanee, all the guys, Ants, everybody, Scan. I don't want to fucking forget him, Chev, DC. But go in and get to know them and build relationships with them, right? Go in and build relationships with them because although we're very close and we're looking after each other, we will look after you guys exactly
Yep.
the same if you bring that energy and you know
Mhm.
put your best foot forward, be a part of it. We will care about you just as much as we care about one another. You know what I
100%.
mean? Like I'll send a raid over to Truman or I'll go over to someone else or give five. We'll look after one another. You guys can emerge and be a part of that as well. The door is open to
Yeah.
everybody. It's not an old boys club with just the boys trying to get to the top of the mountain. Come along the journey with this, man, and we'll bring you with us. All right.
Yep.
So that's what the message I want to send and
Mm.
get to know everybody and build relationships with them and you'll have a lot of value.
TJ, I want to know your thoughts.
I'm just thankful that I was a part of what went down in Vegas the whole time I was there.
Minus the singing.
I oh, you
You
know,
didn't sing, dude. You
okay,
asshole.
You
so
got it.
here
Yeah. Tell the
here's the
story.
issue.
Tell the story.
Here's the issue.
Tell
I
the
was
story.
trying to slide out of frame of the camera because I know about 5 words to "Don't Stop Believing."
You
So,
trash bag. How dare
so,
ye?
That is like
so
how?
before next year,
How?
I'm gonna
Blasphemy.
memorize just every Journey song, so that way I'm not just singing "Don't Stop," and then I'm done. Um, but you know, the whole time we were there, man, it was just like it was almost like just trying to pinch myself. Like
Mhm.
again, me and Dude's a Dude were talking about
It
this. We were
happened
like,
so fast.
it went fast, but at the same time, like it went so fast, but it felt like we were there for a week too, which is crazy. Um, just being a part of something like that that was absolutely groundbreaking is just such an absolute blessing, and I'm so thankful that I was a part of it and just getting to meet all you guys. You were kind of touching on it, Dave, but what blew my mind was like we all met each other, but it, obviously felt like we
Didn't
knew each
feel
other.
like it.
No,
There
it
was
didn't.
no formal,
None.
hey,
No,
I'm Day, nice to meet you. It was like,
no,
bring it
none
No.
of
in,
it.
brother, give me a
It
hug.
it, it truly was
Yeah.
like it was like a long lost friend that I haven't seen since high school, or an old teammate that I haven't seen since we played together in college. That's what it felt like, which was
Mhm.
super cool as well. But just everything about it, man. I was just in awe of how cool the playoffs were. Um, but also at the same time, kind of like how y'all were talking about, being motivated as well. It definitely made me hungry too. Just hearing about, everybody's success story and what certain guys are doing to grow. It's like, man, I need to be doing that same thing.
Yeah,
Like just
if
share
they're
share.
doing that, then I can
Yeah,
do that too. It's kind of like,
exactly.
if they can do it, then why can't I?
And I thought
But
I
more
thought that was cool as
importantly,
what. Go ahead.
you, you've got just you saying that, right? What I was so proud about all these guys is the fact that every single person, right, that was there, they all they all give a shit about one another, right? So
Yep.
you putting that hand, and be like, well, I want to do this. You'll like, it takes one phone call and you'll get assistance from anybody for the next step
Yeah.
you want to make. And that's why I think this thing is so special. I can truly see this turning into what I would consider. I know there's been groups get together in MLB, but I consider this turning into being like a phase or 100 Thieves,
Yep.
like an MLB community thing where there's resources available, and that should inspire everybody in the community to want to be bigger, better, you know, rule out the edge lords and the toxic people, to be like, well, why would I want to do that and troll when I can get to know someone and then be a part of something great and get help and assistance? And there's no gatekeepers in here, man. I want
Mhm.
everyone to just succeed, drop the rope ladder, bring people up, and be like, hey, if I've got information, hey, man, this thing is the way to go about it, man. Here's some intel, some information, and here's some support along the way as well. And to know that those guys all felt like that when I saw them all together, and there was no like bullshit of people like, oh man, oh it's a this is a, it's like boxing, we got to get to the championship belt. It's not like that, man.
Mhm.
There's enough space for everybody, and I loved it. Proud of everybody.
Yeah, I think, and the big thing, you weren't necessarily there, Mangoes, but you were there in spirit. But the big thing that was special that, I wasn't necessarily used to, there was no no. There was no no.
Mhm.
Everyone was there. No one complained. I didn't hear a single complaint out of
No.
anyone the whole time. We were getting worked from 8 a.m. to midnight every single day on 3 hours, 4 hours of sleep. Not a single person complained.
It's because we love it. It's because we are
Mhm.
Yep.
truly doing something that we absolutely love. You know what
But
I
that's
mean? And
baseball, true.
yep.
Like
Yep.
Mhm.
every championship team I've ever been a part of, it's everyone's on the same page and
Correct.
everyone's willing to do it, bro. So it's
That's
like
a great
we're
point.
all, baseball brought us all together. And I've been on teams with studs that just end up barely getting over 500. But the teams where the clubhouse and the chemistry is great, and you're in the dorms or wherever you're at, and it's all great. And it's like, all right, man, we got something to do. We might not feel like it, but guess what? We're gonna get it done, and we
Mhm.
care about one another. It's almost like military kind of style as well. It's like, oh, my
Yep.
brother's here next to me. He's feeling a bit down. Well, let's go. I'll pick you up. Let's run it. We'll do
Yep.
it. And it's I love that, man. That shit gets me fired up every day. Seeing
Mhm.
like team environments and supporting one another to all achieve goals. Legendary shit. And you know, get on that page, man. There's success in that.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, your college guy, true. Man, even when you're mentoring or when you were working with college baseball, you were trying to, impart your knowledge or guidance on the young kids that were just coming out of high school rolling into, tell them about, hey, it's a grind in JUCO, or you got to do
Yeah.
this, man. You guys need to fight for one another. if we want to, have some success. And that's what this shit is.
Yeah, I mean that camaraderie is huge. Just like you said, I mean, we we know about that from, playing baseball, right? And I
Baseball.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's just crazy how that translates into something like this, but it absolutely does 1,000,000%.
It teaches
So,
you life, baseball. Hey, true.
it
It
does.
doesn't,
It
doesn't, it
does.
gives you so many skills to move through in life, and it teaches you lessons on how to apply yourself, be resilient, show good character integrity, and not just be an eye guy.
Yep.
Understand that there's a bigger program going on. And that's why I see like young athletes turn out to be great young men. When they don't succeed in baseball on the field, they still have success in everything they do. They take all those
Correct.
life lessons and they become great. And that's what I'm seeing, and I love it.
Yep.
Well, man, I mean, I think that wraps it up pretty well. You guys have any closing remarks?
Just I'm happy that you had us on day. I thoroughly appreciate it. Thank you. And Mangoes, I know we talked a little bit, but thank you for everything you did as well
Mm-hmm.
in the, over
Absolutely.
the winter,
Thanks,
and
man.
you put in
That
so much
message was
freaking
great,
time,
True.
dude.
You sending me that
Message.
message, and Day,
Oh
and
yeah.
all these other guys, they sent me messages. It really meant a lot, man. And that just shows great character from you guys that, took time to go, hey man, just want to thank you for doing that. I know that like there's a lot of hours. And that meant a lot, dude. So thank you, brother.
Yeah,
I mean, when
dude.
I
I
when I think
mean,
of the DCCL, I think of Major Mangoes. That's the first face that people see, man. I mean, that operation
absolutely.
doesn't go around without you. So,
Thank you, brother. That means a
no,
lot,
thank
dude.
you.
And I'll be there. And Day, yeah, man, thanks for having us on, dude. I couldn't think of a better guy to have on with me. Me and Shrew to get in here and talk to
Yep.
old home improvement over here. We got Al.
No, man, but yeah, this has been another, super fun conversation, and I look forward to the next time we get to speak, and hopefully I'll see you guys on again. And man, shout out to everyone too, by the way. If you guys are listening on the podcast, you're tuning in on YouTube, or you're here in the Twitch chat, like, all the support, we greatly appreciate it. It's all part of the machine that's going on here, and we're just gonna keep grinding and see what this thing turns into, man, because it's been a lot of fun so far. So appreciate all you guys, man, and yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, peace.
Peace.
Peace, fellas.